All right, hello everyone, and welcome back to the video update my 1000 days challenge. This is day 366, so let's get things started. All right, so first and foremost, you'll notice the balance remained the same. There's no trades that have been closed for yesterday and today itself. So I'm still in terms of long trade wise, open trade wise, I'm only in terms of main trading house setup. I'm in terms of long wise for both Link, Ethereum, and Bitcoin. So there's been both on a systematic kind of basis, which is why you do see the drawdown here and there. And in addition to that, in terms of yesterday's trade, it actually happened just a very slim retest. But if I recall correctly on Binance, I actually don't have such a retest, which is why I didn't enter. But in addition to that, I also do have existing long setup in terms of my main trading account setup. So I didn't want to do additional risk simply because I do see a decrease in terms of momentum on the 4-hour chart. If you see on the MACD itself. So momentum has been decreasing while price has been increasing. So this kind of divergence itself doesn't give strength in terms of the price action wise. So that's the reason why I do not enter. But if you haven't yet to enter wise, I will still take in terms of long position setup. I'm still long bias, but I'm cautiously long bias in this perspective. So there's a difference between bullishly long bias and also cautiously long bias in this perspective. So when I do see a decrease in terms of momentum, I understand that momentum is decreasing and the volume here is good, but it doesn't seem to be sustained. So I'm not that cautiously bullish in that sense. But if you have entered this trade, I'll still stick to in terms of the risk to reward setup, and you should still be in a profit right now. And the first target will be around here, the 45K mark. But do be very cautious because on the daily chart itself, we have somewhat like a key resistance over at least 44.8K region. So if we reach somewhere around there and face some sort of rejection, I will at a very minimum move my stop loss to break even and also take partial profit, say for example 20 or even 50% of the position size itself. So that's just what I would do in terms of price action trading. As today is 1st of August itself, I'm also updating in terms of monthly monthly market structure itself. So over on the S&P 500, we still looks to be bullish. It's something I got updated yesterday, but I just realized there's a new month today itself. So yep, so the candlestick do close green. So we have actually 6 consecutive green monthly candlestick on S&P 500. And we do have some sort of indecision along the way for NASDAQ, but overall we are still bullishly running towards the upside as well. As for ASHR, we have finally somewhat transited to a neutral kind of territory if you look in terms of monthly line chart itself. So we actually closed with a lower high, a lower low. So basically, we now form a higher high and a lower low. So we form a neutral kind of territory. Whereas for KWEB, technically, I'll put it in a bearish kind of a market structure because you could very distinct low in that sense. But if you look in terms of money chart, so you'll see this upslope kind of a trend line being potentially a very strong key support, especially with a very strong volume towards it. So if you actually see a very strong bounce in this coming month itself, especially if China government or Chinese government plays a different kind of a sentiment to the market itself, it could without doubt forms a very strong support. So in addition to very strong support here itself, so if we look in terms of previous monthly support itself, I should actually also draw one over here, because to me, this would actually potentially be a very strong support itself. Yeah. So this is definitely a strong support region itself in terms of monthly wise. So looking back into this, I'll be definitely adding some position into KWEB in the coming Monday itself when the market do open. So that's something to bear in mind. And finally, for Bitcoin itself, it seems that this month we actually close towards the red, and you can see that we actually have 3 consecutive months of bearish momentum starting in April, May, and then in June itself. So it seems that July we've closed with a very nice green candlestick and we are supported very nicely somewhat near the 20 exponential moving average on the monthly chart itself. And on the weekly chart itself, we also looks to be closing above the 20 exponential moving average. Not to say that it's a must because we still can face strong rejection today and we still have 19 hours more to go. But bearing in mind that it's very likely that we'll close above it, which is a very good sign. And there's also a spike in terms of volume on this close itself. But it's not in terms of extreme high volume. So I wouldn't say that this is the end of it. We could potentially retest this 20 exponential moving average on the weekly chart, in which case, if that does happen and a weak volume is being shown, then I'll be very likely to actually enter in terms of a long trade or in terms of adding in more position for investment wise. All right, so looking closely on the daily chart itself, things looks to be good. We actually closed with a red candlestick, which is something that I do want, simply because we have been going up for 10 consecutive days. And so if we do have some sort of retracement and pullback and some sort of consolidation on a daily basis, it's actually going to be very healthy. So I actually do see that if we do consolidate over near this region, between this 40K mark to this 45K mark itself, even for a short period of time, it will actually be a very healthy sign that we could break up and retest this 50K very shortly within the next end, by the end of this month or even in the middle of this month itself. So that will be a very good sign. And if we do continue to go upward straight directly, I'll be very cautious simply because if we go straight all the way up, it also means to say that we could go up, we could have a very strong pullback of 10, 20, or even 30% from this pull up itself. So that may not be that healthy in that sense for the longer term wise kind of thing. But of course, it does give an opportunity for us to actually buy in terms of lower pricing as well. So on the 4-hour chart itself, like what I mentioned, if you have entered in terms of this position, it will be great. I'll be looking to take some profit like what I mentioned over there, or at least move my stop loss to over the break-even point if it does hit this target profit itself. So this is to have in mind that in case if it does reject, there may be some sort of strong rejection and we could have a very strong pullback thereafter, especially when we see a decrease in terms of bullish momentum itself. All right, so with that said, that's more or less all I have for you guys today. I didn't enter that one I mentioned simply because I already have a main trading house set up and I see some sort of bearish divergence itself, so I do not want to increase my position and my risk management to this itself. So with that said, I've come to the end of today. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop by your comments below. Otherwise, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.